Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 281. We see more legacy automakers not quite getting how they are supposed to earn money on software. And we are seeing Tesla sales are rising as predicted in most countries in Europe, but one market might be having some trouble for Tesla. And the robotaxi discussion continues, and we are seeing that Waymo with Lidar even have limitations in bad weather. And we got some really cool news about Optimus robot. And Ford had some good news about their EV adventure in the US. And we had some really big news about the Tesla semi-truck production, and Piper Sandler says that Tesla could be the sole winner in the auto space. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
We are seeing more examples of how legacy automakers not quite is getting how they are supposed to earn money on software. Sticker Auto shared a Reddit post about how Mercedes is charging for safety features. Yes, I know, it sounds crazy if you are a Tesla owner, but that is unfortunately the case with legacy automakers, as Sticker Auto reported. Just read a Reddit thread that perfectly summed up everything wrong with German car pricing in 2025. Someone wanted a rear side airbag for their kids in the new Mercedes CLA EQ. Fair, right? I would say no, but I will come back to that later as he continues. The configurator says €179. Responsible. But the moment you check the box, it forces you to also get the black leather seats and a massive Advanced Plus digital package. Total €3,195 for airbags. You stop configuring right there, because what the hell? Same nonsense with Audi. Want air-conditioned preconditioning? That's extra. At that point, you start looking at BYD and Xpeng and wonder if maybe they are the sane ones. And then you get comments like, congrats on your €100,000 car with 40 extras, but no heated seat because you missed one tiny checkbox. No worries though, Mercedes will let you subscribe to those heated seats for €50 a year. Digital extra equals corporate speak for we're milking your post-purchase. Also, it's not just Mercedes, Volkswagen, BMW. They are all in on this DLC-ification of driving. After 2 to 3 years, the key features expires unless you pay up again. Luxury used to mean getting more. Now it just means paying more to unlock what is already there. Yes, this is terrible. Firstly, this is a known game they play. They strip down their models to the bare minimum so they can come up with a nice front price. But when you try to order one, you'll have to pay a lot of extras to get the features that you actually want in a car like that. My wife actually tried this with an Audi a few years back when we were about to get our second car, but she gave up on getting a price as you had to go through so many pages of extra and add-ons, and it ended up being too time-consuming, so she just gave up. But the worst part is that in the example here from Sticker Auto, Mercedes is charging extra for safety features. This is something you will not see with Tesla. Tesla's number one priority is safety. That is why you get all safety features, including side airbags and safety assist features that are the best in the industry according to Euro NCAP, in the standard Model 3 and Y. The only thing in a Tesla you can really add on is the full self-driving software, paint and changing the wheels. Other than that, everything else is included even in the standard version. But Mercedes clearly shows safety is not their number one priority. Profits are. So they will gladly take away some of your safety features so they can charge you money for that later. Mercedes are supposed to be the king of luxury automobiles, but it really seems like they have fallen far from their days of glory when they were the king of new tech and safety features in cars. I don't think this will end well. You know how much I value my digital privacy, right? So when I saw this news, one of the biggest data leaks ever, affecting 3 billion individuals, it's unsettling because this isn't just any data. It's deeply personal stuff like real names, online alias, social security numbers, where you live, where you have been, what you do online, and more. Imagine if login details, social security numbers, or bank details fell into the wrong hands. It's a recipe for disaster, like identity theft. Huge loans has even been taken under people's names without them even knowing about it. And where does these data theft get your info? Likely from data brokers who trade personal info like it's just another commodity. But here's the kicker. There's a way out. You can actually request to have your data erased from these broker databases. Sounds simple, right? But tracking down where your data is and getting it removed is like finding a needle in a haystack. Here is where it gets interesting. A study showed out of those 3 billion whose data was compromised, not a single one who used Incogni had their information exposed. That's why I teamed up with Incogni, the sponsor of today's video. Incogni takes the hassle out of this process. They contact the data brokers for you, insist on your data removal, and handles any pushback. With their family and friends option, you can protect up to 4 people under one plan. And they're quick too. Within minutes, they identified 46 databases with my info and started clearing out 13 immediately, and the rest is in the works. But Incogni does more than just remove data once. It repeatedly scans and sends fresh requests to prevent brokers from re-adding your information, offering an ongoing protection as new brokers emerge or old ones resurface your data. Like you can see on my dashboard here, they have found a total of 96 databases. There are 6 still in progress, but they have completed 90 databases they have found my information on. You can even find a list of every database they've found your data in. If you're ready to claim back your privacy, check out the link down below. It supports this channel and you will get a hefty 60% off if you use my code BESTINTESLA at checkout. And a big thanks to Incogni for sponsoring this video. And we are seeing Tesla sales are rising as predicted in most countries in Europe, but one market might be having some trouble for Tesla. Roland reported on the 24th of June that today Tesla will overtake Volkswagen to become the top-selling car brand in Norway for the quarter. Nice, and yes, Tesla is pulling away from the competition just as predicted. The first time I showed the Model Y being number 1 in Europe, and the ID.7 was just behind it with a couple of thousand units. But a week or two ago, it was about 6,000 units, and now Tesla is about 10,000 units in front. So we are seeing Tesla pulling away from the competition here in the last month or two. So it is still happening as predicted, as we are looking for the uptake as Tesla is getting more and more vehicles in inventory in every country. And if we look at June alone, only looking at the 6 countries here in Europe that gives daily sales numbers, we can see that Tesla has the 2 best-selling EV models with the 3 and Y, and Tesla has sold twice as many units as the Volkswagen brand. So the trend we have been talking about and expecting to see is happening, especially in Spain. Here we can see the trend we have been expecting very clearly. In the beginning of the quarter, Tesla is as slow as the rest of the guys on this list, but by the end of May, start June, Tesla is picking up the pace again, and no one else is capable of keeping up with Tesla. And if we isolate June, as we did with the 6 countries in Europe, we can also see that Tesla in Spain in June has once again become the all-dominating force. And another big market in Europe is, of course, the UK. And if we look at year to date, we can see that Tesla is also the dominating force in the UK. The Model Y and the Model 3 are the 2 best-selling models. The Model 3 is actually keeping up with the Model Y in the UK so far, so that is very impressive, but that is also a good indication that Tesla does not have all the Model Ys available just yet, as the Model Y usually is selling a lot more units than the Model 3. But in the UK, Tesla actually actually is the best-selling brand as well, selling even more than the Volkswagen brand. But that is actually the case in many countries in Europe in June. But one place we don't see much movement yet is Germany. I would have expected more sales by now in Germany, so maybe Tesla does have a bigger problem in Germany. But we have to wait and see. Tesla is still a top 10 brand in Germany, but very far from last year's level, because we are still missing a lot of models and inventories, of course, so don't know if Tesla is prioritizing exporting to other countries. As we know, Taiwan only first here in June got the launch edition of the Model Y, and those are coming from the Berlin factory. So Tesla is just now getting the last versions of the launch edition out to customers, and we are of course still missing a lot of versions of the Model Y around the world. Like in the US, you also have only the long-range version with all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. But in most of Europe we have three versions, the two long-range version like in the US, but also the standard version rear-wheel drive. But in China, for example, they only have the standard range rear-wheel drive and the long-range all-wheel drive. And we of course are missing the performance version altogether all over the world. So we still have quite a way to go to get the same kind of inventory and models available as last year, where we had 4 versions to choose from. And in some places we are seeing that Tesla has only just started delivery of the launch edition, so all of the other more affordable versions are yet to be delivered. So there is no doubt that they're still missing a lot of supply, but we are seeing Tesla growing in sales numbers again, so that's nice to see. But one place to keep an eye on is definitely Germany, because that is where Tesla look the weakest. But let's see how it looks in Q3. So with Q2 here in Europe, we did see some growth compared to Q1, but Tesla is still going to be down in Q2 compared to last year, of course. But let's see what the damage will be. Like I said in the beginning of the year, Tesla could lose as much as 100,000 units because of this shift to the new Model Y, and in Q1 they did lose 50,000 globally. So let's see how much they have lost in Q2. I think Europe alone could be down something like 50,000 units in the first half of 2025. But we will see when we get all the numbers. I do hope and expect that Q3 will be more normalized. Probably still not much growth year over year, but I do expect Q4 to be a new record quarter. But let's see what the next quarter will bring. But in Europe, Tesla is looking strong in most places except Germany. That of course is the biggest market in Europe, but Tesla has never really had the #1 spot in Germany as a brand, so Germany has never been Tesla's strongest market. But I think it's safe to say, with only a couple of days left of this quarter, that Q2, well, Tesla Model Y did become the best-selling EV model in Europe, and Volkswagen did become the best-selling EV brand, and Tesla came in as second. And the robotaxi discussion continues, and we are seeing that even Waymo with Lidar has limitation in bad weather. So we have heard a lot about how Tesla need Lidar, or it can't see in the dark or in the rain and so on. So the comments have been like Tesla will not be able to drive in bad weather. But I have always said, if Tesla's system can't drive in bad weather, no one should probably be driving in that weather. But Lidar won't help you much either, as we have just got a demonstration by Bradford, who ordered a Waymo when Tesla turned off their robotaxi service because of bad weather. But you could order a Waymo, but it did start the ride, but then it pulled over and wrote on the screen, "Severe weather has stopped your car." So as they said in the video, the Lidar didn't help Waymo's cars to drive in bad weather.
So, yeah, Waymo has Lidar. How much did Lidar help the Waymo here?
Zilch. I mean, we had to run into the parking lot.
Well, it had to stop. It had to stop.
Yeah.
But we have of course also seen some issue with Tesla's system, but not stuff I think Tesla can quickly fix. But that has of course quickly become the topic of most mainstream media, that Tesla's robotaxi launch was not a success. But they of course just want to publish the narrative that Tesla robotaxis is not safe. They truly only want to show the negative side. In my video of the robotaxi launch, I did point out the mistake the car made when Rob Mauer from Tesla Daily tried it out, showing that the system is not yet perfect as expected, but most of the time it handled the situation perfectly. But mainstream media doesn't care about showing both sides, as we could see from Dirty Tesla that wrote, literally, what the F is wrong with these people? I said they could use the video if they also included the video showing robotaxi's ability to pull over appropriately for an ambulance. I don't want positive only coverage, I want a balanced coverage to tell the entire story. But Reuters didn't want that, they only wanted the bad stuff. They are truly digging their own grave as a trusted media outlet. But Tesla's robotaxis continues doing their job in Austin, and we will have to see how fast they can expand and what comes next. But Jordan from The Limiting Factor had some good thoughts on what might be Tesla's next move.
It might make sense to roll it out to like Tesla employees next and then increase the area. So that gives them a much larger base to work from, but still it's kind of still semi-public. And then after you open up to broader Austin area and get a larger volume of people going through, then you can start opening it up to the public more broadly. At least that would make the most sense to me.
I think that sounds like a really good idea, as Herbert also wrote. Prediction: Tesla will expand their geofenced area for robotaxis in Austin on June 28, courtesy of Cern Basher. Why? Because they'll include Giga Texas, and June 28, that's when they might start the first Tesla Model Y to roll out the factory to drive itself to a customer's home. So why not include Giga Texas to the serviceable area? Yes, there is no real connection, so it likely will not happen, but thoughts. I think this could make sense, as Jordan pointed out, if they open it up to thousands of employees at Giga Texas. It would make sense to have the area expand to include the Giga Texas factory, and that could line up perfectly with the date they want to try to deliver the first Model Y to customers directly from the factory. Hope that this is the case, as this will be so cool to watch, but as I'm away this weekend, I will not be able to get it into the news show if it happens. So stay tuned and follow me on X. I will definitely keep you up to date there and talk about it in the upcoming news show, so stay tuned. But it's not just the mainstream media that is trying to spread thought about Tesla's robotaxi launch, so are the haters. But it is getting difficult to spread thought and lies on X, as we have community notes. If you are reporting untrue statements like Jerry here, you're telling me that robotaxis are doing nearly double the speed limit on residential street. What the F? But the community note said the speed limit for this road is 34 miles per hour. The highest speed shown in the clip is 38 miles an hour. This is 8% over the speed limit, not nearly over 2x the speed limit that Jerry is trying to make it look like. But it is just hard for the haters that have been saying that this day would never come, and here we are with Tesla's robotaxis driving around. So just as predicted, they would become desperate and clinging to every little mistake the system will make. But spreading literally lies is not really possible anymore on X. So sorry, Jerry. But people also tend to forget that most of the legacy automakers has promised robotaxis for the last decade or more. As Ford, for example, that promised robotaxi launch in 2021 back in 2018. And Ford expected a $330 billion autonomous vehicle business in 2026. So that of course did not happen, and GM's Cruise also died as well. But we have not heard much about that by the mainstream media. But Tesla is actually now taking the first step on delivering on this service. And most mainstream medias and haters are just focusing on the small mistakes it has been making that will be easily fixed with an over-the-air update, instead of actually celebrating this historic moment that basically every other OEM on the planet has been promising as well at some point in time, but has never delivered. Yes, Tesla is late compared to Elon Musk's predictions, but we are here now, and that should be a time for celebration. But I guess the ones that didn't believe Tesla would be able to pull it off is desperately trying to hold on to the notion that Tesla has not yet succeeded. But remember, Waymo drove with safety driver for 3 years, so I think it's fair to say that Tesla's first test here has been quite successful. And now we have Volkswagen that is saying that they will also launch robotaxis in 2026 and will overtake Tesla. So yet another little statement that we can keep an eye on to see what will happen, because Volkswagen also claimed that they will overtake Tesla in EV sales in 2018, but that did not quite happen. We are still waiting for that one. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla shorts. It is not just Tesla that is launching new robotaxi service. Waymo rides are now available in Atlanta as well, but only through the Uber app. But still, yet another city with robotaxis that will only make our roads safer, so that's nice. But even though many would like to show this as why Waymo is beating Tesla in the long run on scale, Amy reminded us all about another disruption that have happened. As she wrote, the iPhone was introduced in 2007, BlackBerry had their best year in 2010, but then started their descent to 0% market share. Disruption isn't immediate, but once it starts, it's hard to avert. A better product is simply a better product. And not only have we seen that even Lidar have to stop if the weather is getting too bad, but Zach here also shared that sun glare many are talking about is not an issue for Tesla Robotaxi, as he wrote. Absolutely zero issues heading into direct sunlight in our Robotaxis. Been going for almost an hour now, doing golden hour sunset. As smooth as it always is. Nice. And Tesla Energy also wrote on X, tonight the Powerwall fleet in California dispatched 345 megawatts to the grid doing a virtual power plant event, reducing the need for fossil fuel peaking plants. And they also showed that the two US market with stable electricity prices today are the market with the greatest adoption of solar and storage. Powerwall virtual power plants are actively supporting the US grid. First event of the year in New England to support during the heat wave. Test event planned for California, prepared to provide needed support in Puerto Rico. And Ford had some good news about the EV adventure, as Jim Farley wrote on X. Our new battery plant in Marshall, Michigan is making great progress. Soon Ford will be producing LFP battery cells right here at home in the US. We are making electric vehicles more affordable, supporting American jobs at Blue Orville Battery Park, Michigan. Nice to see. And Robinson shared this nice shot of the Tesla semi-truck at the Giga Nevada semi-pilot facility. The picture is by Tesla manufacturing engineer Ronak Bale. A very nice shot of a lot of Tesla semi-trucks that are getting ready to take on the trucking industry very soon. Because Sangler had some breaking news about the Tesla semi-truck, as he wrote on X. Tesla Giga Semi breaking news. For real, a watershed event. At least 20 Grop system large crates were staged down the street from Giga Semi, and I saw this one heading towards Tesla Semi high volume factory. Fitting out of the assembly line has begun. Per Grop Systems is a German company specializing in advanced manufacturing solutions for EV production. This includes automated system for producing components like stators, rotors, and complete electric motors. They also automate battery production and possibly robots for assembly lines. The semi-truck production line is being assembled as we speak. Very, very exciting. And Sawyer shared this picture of the best kind of credit card charges. A lot of 420 charges for all his robotaxi ride in Austin. And Cintil from Texas wrote, our newest revenue stream. Yep, slow at first, then all at once. And we had some more clickbait titles from mainstream media. Amazon launched a second batch of Kuiper internet satellites, taking on Elon Musk's Starlink. Well, they have quite the way to go, as SpaceX's head start is so large that saying taking on Elon's Starlink might be quite the stretch. But Luke made this a funny chart showing off how mainstream media would probably have made the chart. Amazon's huge 45 satellites against Starlink's small 8,987 satellites. And with the launch sequence that SpaceX has on their Starlink satellites, I don't think Amazon will ever catch up to Starlink's lead. And we have already talked about how the safety features are included in your Tesla, but John also wrote on X. Simpler wise, get your teenager a Tesla. You can set a maximum speed limit, restrict acceleration, log in safety features, set a curfew, parental, and activate parental notification. Also one of the safest cars on the road and most affordable. And Tesla wrote, every Tesla comes standard with parental control. Yes, if Mercedes knew how to make this, they would probably put that into a safety package that would cost $3,000. And Cathy Wood met up with the British government this week, as she wrote on X. Thank you to the British government for hosting us last Thursday at 10 Downing Street, where we enjoyed sharing our latest insight on AI and innovation, as well as the growth opportunities in the UK. And as Alex wrote, did Cathy Wood possibly lobby for full self-driving in Europe? She probably explained how safe the system is and how many accidents is already prevented in the United States. Once one country in Europe opens the door for full self-driving, others will follow. Yes, indeed. And Tesla made a savvy little jab at everyone that said that robotaxis could not drive without Lidar, as they wrote on X. Cars can drive themselves just fine without needing to wear a hat. And in the category of rumors, we had Lincoln on X that said, big robotaxi news. Numerous robotaxis were spotted without a driver on highway outside the geofenced area. They are going to scale quicker than I expected. Yes, still nothing confirmed, but this should be according to eyewitnesses. So yes, Tesla is probably already testing outside the geofenced areas that they have put in place, so would not be the biggest surprise if they are already doing this. And we do have more people getting the invites to get the Robotaxi app, as Tesla Tina shared on X.
This is one of the most exciting days for me in 2025. I just received this email. This invite is for getting access to the Robotaxi app for my phone so that I can call a Robotaxi to come pick me up wherever I am in the geofenced area. So I'm going to go through the process right now and see how it goes.
And Craig shared a video for all the working people out there showing that the screen in a Tesla does work with gloves on. Something that does not work on the iPhone, as he's showing off here, but it does work on Tesla's screen. Nice. And Elon posted, Optimus version 3 is going to be very nice. Excellent review with Tesla Optimus team. Ooh, very exciting. And when Elon was asked, is Optimus going to run a Grok voice assistant? That will be pretty cool. And Elon replied, already does. Ooh, can't wait to see the first video demo of Optimus Gen 3. And Piper Sandler seems to get that Tesla's full self-driving software will do more than just disrupt the ride-hailing and robotaxi industry, as they wrote. Tesla could be the sole winner in the auto space. Tesla's robotaxi launch is a milestone with industry-wide implication. As Tesla scales its self-driving software, the auto market is at a risk of disruption. With fewer cars sold, higher fleet-wide utilization, and a transition to service-based revenue models, we think Tesla will be a consolidator in the progress, but we struggle to identify other winners. Oh yes indeed. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my new supporters of this channel. My new YouTube members, Jason Clean Safe Energy and Tim Kayita. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. If you are learning stuff from the internet, remember to do a little thinking yourself as well. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheets also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.